How do you pray in the midst of infertility, and what advice do you have?
One, the fact that you are willing to pray is a blessing.
That's so good.
Infertility is hard. That's a hard weight to carry, especially in many Christian communities in which your infertility is blamed on you. That you haven't prayed enough, that you haven't fasted enough, that you haven't believed big enough, and therefore the miracle is all your fault. And so I just want to encourage you to say that if you even ask the question of how do I pray, that says that I still have faith in God in the midst of my troubles.
So good, Jack.
I think a good example is Hannah in 1 Samuel when she's dealing with infertility, and how it says that the Lord is the one who closed her womb. So there's a sense in which conception falls into the sovereign creativity of God. He decides when and when not to open the womb. The discouraging part is that when we put the burden of barrenness on the Lord, that actually enforces some of the discouragement some of you may feel. And so I think you have to be reminded of what we mean by Lord. What we mean by Lord in Exodus 33 is that he is the Lord, a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love, which means that even when my circumstances are difficult, he's still good. He's still abounding. He's still steadfast. He's still faithful. That does not eliminate the grief, but it does cultivate hope where you don't hate God in light of the difficulty. Does this make sense? And so the way you pray is how Hannah prayed, where she says, "O Lord of hosts, look upon the affliction of your servant." Notice how she identifies God, and notice how she identifies herself. She calls him Lord of hosts, meaning he is the warrior God who is sovereign over earthly, heavenly, all things. And therefore, God, if you are sovereign over all things, then you can overcome this, right? But she also calls herself a servant, meaning whatever you allow in my life, I am going to submit to you in it. Even if that means pain, even if that means suffering. If you never give me a child from my womb, give me children in the church, because motherhood is not just a fertility that you have, right? Like fruitfulness, I'm saying too much.
No.
So
I could not agree with that more, because